abusuafo, it is possible. And a few common ana yedi. And run a NPP election review committee at the Kratabeto Abonti say, you were NPP 4, party 4, and its stakeholders be prayer. Omo a chichini bench here, omo per se, omutimi a chro madrin, a would the NTA Lucy 2024 general election. Nansu boha baby or one no, and a baby I was showing to me now being canasa moncheno. It's man I'm friend me, and a committee now, which will be a catching is say, man I'm friend, no more making complaints in it. Yamiadum, election review committee, at the email be abatuda, or say, can what send be our person walker. The NTA will feel is a day when a party na ye, and I say, and Emma win the CCC, I'm why and Emma Elusu Aban. Oh dear, about NPP election review committee at gmail.com, NPP election review committee at gmail.com. Who bet me can was sending and I'm a wasam no oh can, no munye sham. Don't use hash words. So oko use hash words. I want here wasama bekani nyinano. Obi no obeti. E china go beka sa o kasa ye party nenti. Party this ope so tu obi ane. Ope so tu obi akasa. Enti wontimi nko party office e nko make you complaints. Nyame adom obetimi atwo. O de wontimi ntwura ma obi ntwura ma obi entwura ma. O de man open so kra me modin enya by force. Ma obi entwura ma na timi send the call. Na won so asem no yemfa. Yen so aye pese use social media. Me de me come do social media. Yen no pese use social media. Mesrem mo ma ye kasa ni mu na ho. Mo me ho nte. Na ukọ na wubu afu na wo kasa o hwe kura wo mfi o di kan tie na say ye di atem na di kan ye kasa twetwe na di kan ya onti nti mesrem say obi anya abotire na ekwan apese wo afa so e kan wasem no say party office na betimi akọ so pese o use email no so betimi use dem nso dem pese me use social media nto me so me use social media na nyina ntimi nka ye hommom nya nyame ya adoma 2028 general election yen wi ni na NPP ene Ghana emfa ne ntoma pemfra
there will be a whole bunch of development, but a lot of the MPs and I'm using Mimi constituency as an example.
Oh yeah.
Eugene, the prime minister too, a lot of the MPs, they became lords, not servants. The very moment you become like that, the people will see you differently. And the MPP as a party should sit down and look at a lot of things. I mean, they say, okay, about leadership, listen, Mama prime minister, you are giving people 10,000, 20,000 to vote you to go. That's the more sense. How did you get the money? When the streets, people are struggling, people cannot feed. When you do all those things, one of the things I made me go GDA power honestly. Me GDA womb say President Mahama will do good. The Intiana say, Sabi, Sonny Obatio. That's Obani Jao, we go into Tini. No, Kwa, no, Kopachawa, no, Osajawa. You treat Obani different.
Yeah.
When no opportunity to serve Ghana for pain, only circumstances upon which Ghanaians booted him out. Now Ghana for summer, we're quite there, a bit unprecedented, overwhelming majority. And on the amount.
To come and continue what you did, the mistakes.
Parliament, no, not the mistakes. That is the more no. Who's the more at the end with one side? Oh, your mistake. No, your mistake. And a Ghana for booting you out. And a offer by 8 years. And a Ghana for you I'm the back, couldn't mistake, no. No, cry yet. So you can't remember. I know by when you saw some more catch the woman. I know my job too. When you make mistakes and you are not careful, why are you careful now, sir? And the Kwame, the entire be who take a decision in our frame.
Yeah,
no, we'll do because you pay candid opinions.
Yeah.
Say, can you question me? Hey, Uber tax me. Miss me tax me. Who will remind me taxing me? I know we try kick him. So over tax me. People were accused giving people money. When you do that, you are creating an impression. You are just admitting that you did not do good, but take the money and vote for me. It's the party should go back. No more koyo mo jumeji. No more and then asoma president-elect Kai also saying, Okache Nacee NDC voting in say adia Ghana for ya che ni chra de baako. Say yensu yeba. Na ya they'll kick us out. And that is the level of the Ghanaian voter now. Of course, you can have a percentage who will vote on lines who are partisan, maybe are tribal, maybe are religious, any sign of money now. But the people who select, you'll be choosing the president, and yes, Uncle Fono. The people are economy. Ghana, they be a trouble about the economy. And it's about the economy. If there's no money in my pocket, I'll vote you out. It's as simple as that. There was a young man who is my friend. In 2016, he had $100,000 as the capital of the year. That was 400,000 Ghana cedi. Today, less than 25,000. Also, say Paroka Jensen free as Ajumako Toba. Is that what you are saying? So they lost touch with the base. They should accept it. No more trade, no more nothing prepared, no more be. And now, but they go to Suway, or Santini go to Suway, or Clemoni go to Suway. So I didn't tell you. Boys, no, young boys, no more street in this room. And
Mammy for no pay free SHS. But the ma for the hour to an my council. Then you know who are way. You bet 2 or more say banche. Now me say, me was Santiachim. Yeah. Ube drew Fantiaqua, I want a duke or no Fuyata. We say, oh, what the Omo here? You bet trot now only Nipaya or more Casasana. Mrantia no money nam quine home. Or more form or more form. So if any pan almost celebrating us. Or more form no. That is the result of me here. Intimate me refugee beam. Abranti bi hu me o se o men kwara me kwachi adama me opemasem. Menene ma me e refugee bi anema 2 3 bi o minu aba ni o. Obe eyezu na ne ma me ne se oboa free SHS a na ekọ. Nti u behwe no ne ma 3 ana 4 no. Ne ma me ne to free SHS a na o ma to cancel.
Na me oba o maaye no. Na me ka and na bibusa say
right
free SHS no a NPP for hallmark.
Yes.
Na o share age range no a
exactly
18 to 24 ho baby.
Exactly.
And SHS for no Bikura University.
Right.
No mo doso.
Sir.
Omo ma way.
University na omo kono. Omo nya kodru ho no wi a. Hwe ade a NPP for underestimate here. Nipa na omo nya free SHS no. Ghana for ye nipa wo de ade ma na ekutana ene okai. Omo wie school no a. Na omo ko another mode or per juma and now Pescaco University.
Yes, that's what.
Na ni real feed ya man.
No.
Kaibio.
Nti 5 million na omo ka no. Omo real feed say 4 million afrim. Sa 4 million unkuta omo biem.
The man set na different from time one.
Afa de o pe bibi adi. Nti school no kro ko na isa ba say school no me koye dan.
I be bedi.
Me se Ghana ni e hye onsam se ya. E na wo ne control. Nti analysis a me hu ye ne se maamefo no bia o mo pe free SHS no. Oto ba ko a wa wo 4 e na odi o makogum 3 awie 2 e wo ma na ba ko nso na o makọ cancel ne maame vote o mo se o mo po betting tax. Ye wo fie ye twa e beta na o mate sika. Ntia Musa dankwa ne ho amono o mo ye sa post no. I'm starting me statistics debates. Eniama no bi o mo kan because me mpo a me se me come drive around na ma tie people's opinion efira. That is one of the biggest things a ma NPP eto from na me ba no ma me mbo asem so na me nua baba e kan asem bi se asiedu nkatia onyai na omonkoji omani asiedu nkatia e make some mistake no the enti omo make some mistake no ma me make ade we clear 2020 election. Yes. NPP for ni bi epekasa. There are 4 or 3 seater. You're now for politics. We talk. There are 3 or 4 seater. NPP for after 1 or 2 years, they came to reveal to a more for in NDC. Say, how much fire? I'm telling you.
And look, I say, Canada, Japan, cry, can be die. But you're rough. I was supposed what we did, ABC.
Yes. Some constituencies, or more to a bunny way. Yeah, the pink sheet are more. MP na fresh station ya wene omo kodru polling center ho a coalition center ni adum kania ade a chen na election na 10 nti omo yi reveal sa niema no ama omo hu enti ba bia me koti bi e ahafo ano south omo say afi wei omo beku ye wo ho nti omo celebrate na me video no omo say da bia anwe hwe ye nkokan ya ba no e wo coalition center ho a yenda enti eniema na ekoso no asiedu nkatia no ya wo na we se omo ya ye difuri pe
atia ne ka ho asem no ukokumase ame na metimi na me hubi anu ti no yi Dr. Matopoku Pempena he worked but at a point who train some man nkofo kan na clear so omo nto aba because this social media na aba no generation bia okoye fa so e kasa kire omo generation we ho ntimi ko kan kire say Wallace bekuku ya ma mo fa ho atwam. No, they are not connected to that. Aba, so you are caught to Aba. The presidential candidate is in the by 11 meter because when they were passing 11, they brought idea. Yeah. He was not in support. I'm telling you, Dr. Bawumia was not supporting the 11. and I'm off for one I'm ad hoc economic management committee led by Mr. Osafoma. Mokoche that committee in Amoko Pasi 11. Papa is so about become the direct opposition. So about become. And then yes, away.
2 year campaign to our party.
Oh, me a control na Bawumia become. I don't get it.
So
World Health Organization for now so 2022 May 31st May say COVID is over. I'm a World Health Organization president. Chief executive tweety say COVID is over. What do you father say? You know baby yare de bese aba. Tell Daniel that COVID is over. Kasa COVID level say COVID ne saba yen find another way. Kwaku. Go to port. Business time see businessmen be our Ghana be no hot to ababa NPP da. Business tako be say me nim comfort penifo kokuda. Me no am di komo. Me ne cabinet ministers di komo. Many business tycoon goose, deep lucrative people, you didn't come up. They tell us the operation that they are doing. They go to the president. We don't want to see a virtual bantia party. But baby, go to port. 23 port charges. How can you win election with this? But see, factors in the endorse the only thing on the board Dr. Bawumia say, or Boama Dr. Bawumia be a flag bearer. The man would do Dr. Bawumia, he worked where you're not familiar, but the now to down Kokufado, and no man kitty baku Munubia, Nesenko Yifu Homa, Ghana for because you obi on any flag bearer. Was a meba, media ibeba, electric buses beba. Yeah, the electric buses aba. Would you be about before the election? Was a meba make COVID, the direct opposition or opponents say meba make COVID. It is what to me the buses need be bad, then I won't track COVID about 6 months to the election.
In 2024 election, NPP lost that election in 2022. I repeat, election 2024. NPP 4, we lost the election in 2022. Why? I'm you know, I say I'm a businessman. All the way to tomato seller, Esikashi Yano, Ghana for Muwagin. And middle class for Ato bonds, and Musikashi, Yadiko 15 years, Oma for Muwagin. And my pension for Esikashi, Oma for Muwagin. Anytime Bia or Minum Bedna, Ghana for you, Magin is your Mon Casarum, no ma for Muwagin.
Listen, there are 3 people you cannot advise in this world. Number 1, a man that is poor and has become very rich, you can't advise him. Number 2, a woman in love. And number 3, the president of Ghana.
A few moments later.
What they mean too for me know what them they am no can. You try bani we ya ye bobo say wa we be na TV 3 so o catch nipa na was we na TV company for no ko John Mahama o catch say abani the come here before na to ye.
So we na we ka ko na TV 3 kan. So ko Mahama na catch say the come any before and to ye.
Na asa ko na do so catch say e come near before so no so ba no anya the come near before be sa to ti
kan chen na do so oba na so wan hwe ni ye e come near before no e de pam Mahama no bi na de pam
wo ho nim de
before judi oso wo ho nim de
wadre wo mpesika ye hwe bi o
de wadre wa bo bread we wo mpesika de aye hwe
enti se kun ho na ye adwuma no yi
se wa ba kun ho for do Ghana ho do awo no fire adwuma na bo Ghana fo
edin ko an se wo pe
se de dro de edin ko a
de be odin be ko mu sam pass wo mampanyi bi ba na e friend na ado da wo ba be ye Ghana yi
se de dro de hia se wetima ya ade na daachi yaka se o mampanyi bi ba Ghana na e friend na ado da nkwa kuado o be ya ade
ni pa nyina ni da so
ni pa nyina Ghana fo se
Ghana fo nyina ni da so se
Ghana fo o mani da so
na so untimi nye di nyina na so ye bi mi ehu so aye
tunfo se bi ni nyina ade untimi nye na mmom ye bi ni ehu se ampa o ba we ye
o de mean too for me know what them they am no can
tunfo se we de kakra bi no kan we de wono de dem asem
kakra meka no won krofo ka ho na meka che ye mfa no kra mfa mo obi meda wo nka we na kyan so de wo beso ye no nko.
I go by the name the 2GH Nyansafontie na omo ade ni mu ndoso Me na mawie na medwene nsɛm bi ho a na mpɛsɛ mto Ghana fo nyinaa NPP as a party no Oman lose election based on their performance there be but rather NPP lose elections because of say corruption mechanism authority or mono edos pa. Most of the headmasters of senior high schools no omone say time ana free SHS enyamba ye no na amanfo si omosmo mpe protocols e de ma nti anytime bia na school for ebeba school bia na say bia school for call manim bia no na omunya skapa yi enesa ade eni hobiem ntomoto aba editia NPP teachers ni bi enso say majority of them both male and female so say e dia na nkomutimi nya call oh ye pese ye baba school mu ase na abenya kwan no akọ headmaster na o ma komutra pam ho na o manya sika kakra nti omo nso saade bia school for new for ba na so mo call manima omunsu timi yeden enya sika no ebi ena ebi nso kra ekase na me number ebi na eho no ekwan na se kakra enti ya na omutage na oton ade tu ho ne bebi a junction na ekwan na tutu ni ade omo ye ekwan na manfo so omo ekwan de omo se ye adwuma enti ebeto aba e de atia omo a omo twa bet so se mo de tax ato betting so eno so nti ebeto aba ye den e de atia omo se wokọ airport wa obu atu kwan da bia ni masma making sika ya na omogye immigration for jina we also the e-gate aba nti e-gate no chere se o ye Ghana na so odu na kuta ye friend sen o Ghana card o de boss wa na o de awura menya ade obaji uska bi e ba sa immigration form post da bia sembe na mo de be enam se nti aye den ya to aba e de atia mo Ghana nti so be sorry say at least obeye niema yi tia and am say corruption na che ekoso bebrebe ni oma nyina aye basa ni nti no e wo se eto abatia no oma nti ebeyi ni oma ya ya chichiri ebeyi ni from upgrade to reset yehwe
si ponoso dia de cheche na soldier for na navy for de ka ho edi adenchete from Turkey sa be see Ghana ha sometime $5 million 10 year America ne ba no e car ye transportation e ma ni free Turkey bedru Ghana e million 1 million 2 million also can be million 3 million 4 million 5 $5 million from Turkey to Ghana. Mahama na yesi on ma dum so ba 2016 no granted eno di America say e ma dum so njai ena Bawumia na ankasa bi na to da dum to say oh dum so do wa fix aka economy no ade na ye 5 billion e free Turkey kwantentin be du Ghana ha no Ghana fo mu nche bi Nana do ne Bawumia atamade no e free enkran pe e ko kumase a almost in the lorry fare $35 million.
Minister neighbor. Hi.
I'm saying $5 million from Turkey. Afei, every Accra, I call Kumasia. Kumasia, I didn't have to find the best one of one on the year, Mahama toy. And I said to two fingers. Say, do no Mukani and Ododo. And or tam 10 in Adia no toy in the basic Kumasi. Tam Yakwasio. It's the Adano. It is a say, $35 million. No, a sum for Fraba home. Nipa no transport and say, Sikana still here and sewing. It's 35 no. You have $4.95 million. I come home and $40 million. The machine Nankasa Akuvado yet on say.
What do you think accounted for the apathy?
Well, the people told us quite clearly what is accounting for the apathy. There were people who were available in the towns and villages, some even at the polling stations, in my constituency and in other constituencies, who told us clearly, we won't vote. We won't vote. Some, for example, will say, unless you give us money. Some will say, we won't vote because we are angry. We won't vote because we are disappointed. And they explained what their issues were. some of the issues that have led to this apathy or this level of apathy have to do with how we have managed our party and some of the processes that we've gone through in the party, which leave the general party support base feeling angry. For example, when there are primaries and there's a small electoral college and there's a lot of incentives to delegates to vote for a particular candidate, it leaves the broader community angry. For example, there are those who told us that they were not pleased with the conduct of some senior government officials or some political actors, how we have carried ourselves about, at various instances. And they therefore sought to send us a message and to punish us for that. There are those who explain that the cost of living crisis is so severe. And though they hear the explanations about the why, they voted for us as a government to fix it. And they are not impressed with how much effort we have made in fixing it. And therefore, this is their verdict. And then there were those who told us that they were just, displeased about how we had handled major governance issues, like delivering on major projects or focusing on projects which they thought were totally unimportant, or responding to accusations of nepotism and corruption, etc. So they provided a lot of reasons. What we need to do is to embrace these reasons and to work with them to improve our management as a party and our governance the next time we have an opportunity to be in power.
And before the elections though, many people watching said these sentiments that you're now articulating were very obvious. Everybody said you guys were heading for a catastrophe, but you speak to almost every government official, every spokesperson, all of you were in denial. You were spinning, we are going to turn this around, the economy was doing well. Ghanaians were quietly waiting for you at the polls. You concede now that there was a lot of denial among your ranks, and that maybe led to this false sense of security, which now has been stripped off by the voter.
I think what transpired was the fact that the turnaround was not occasioned quickly enough. The administration acknowledged that there were difficulties and put out a number of measures to deal with some of these difficulties. And you began to see the turnaround numbers coming through in the latter part of the year 2024. But in the earlier part of the year, and perhaps the year before, the pain had been so much that people had made up their minds. And therefore, no matter how things were turning around, getting to the election season, or how projects were being finally completed, if you had major projects that you had not completed for a while and people had made up their mind to vote against you, completing them in the final weeks to the election and commissioning them may not necessarily change the minds of people because they had made up their minds already. Like I say, our job is not to argue with it or to rationalize it. Our job is to embrace it and to work with this feedback.
What do you think is the biggest lesson here?
Well, the political class has to listen a lot more to the Ghanaian public. The power rests with the people. They give us that power for 4 years, and they will hold you accountable at the end of the 4 years. And so the political class needs to listen a lot more. Today, I see a lot of our colleagues in the NDC very jubilant. And my caution to them is to listen a lot more to the people who employ us, the people who vote for us. Because in the end, it is how you deal with the issues that matter to them that determines your fate at the end of the day.
But I share elections share 2000 NDC be free. So yes, there was an apathy, there was an issue, but it wasn't like this. 2008, President Gufo free. So there was an apathy. And yes, sir,
not to this magnitude.
Yes, President 2016 Mahama ebe free. So and yes, sir, but this time around, I've been telling people that I don't see it to be normal.
This year.
Yes. I don't see
abnormal.
It's an abnormal thing which is here interrogating you.
And the abnormality and physical.
I don't see it to be too physical.
Spiritual.
That is my belief.
Who believe?
I don't see, because the same trend can go through all 276 constituencies, 16 regions. It's not normal. Sometimes when baby region be as a region for the man to wait the almost to you. It's not normal. Indeed, me dear me fee say
mo be hwe sunsun mu so aka ho.
Me dear me no sebe baby am feeling you know. Me
take chances.
Take chances. Aha. Opani bi na ka che mo sese won no yere ho. Won no yere a won ne da empa so. Se won ne kura nya asem. Na se ntokwa ba asentokwa ba kikiki a.
Yes.
Wasi wura won pass se wo ba nsere kura fatu ase because one hwe na se o yere no ho de no count wo se sia wagu anim ase.
Wagu anim ase.
Tu hu sa ndi o ko election a. Nyese wa boa ho a wa fa we wa fa nkrofo on be election ama wa campaign papa bank ani ade o uni mpaye bo na wa bobi baby apeso do ho goja na do
now the ho akwa
so ade ase ni na aka ho.
But you believe say in terms of campaigning more execute a proper campaign mo ye
opa bi we fidie na busa obi afa busa Ghana ni bia say campaign a eye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ye ani Ewura Mahama ye ene o wade sa aka na ye no on chira de oye campaign o ka de oye proper campaign Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia
se ne yese mo de na ye nwom ne asa ena na edo so
enwum be na de na friends campaign be na akwa ase aye mo enwum kakra se o be bo enwum kakra but obi a cause a P2P person to person campaign obi a ni on mo ye it has never happened in this country Akufo-Addo wo cross sha see a e say no cut down one cut down to say the Bawumia ko you know Bawumia touch base with every no community connect.
Yes.
No, say
youth connect.
Youth connect na ve wo o meeting market or call rounds chichi amanfo ni ade. Why you nyina o 276 constituencies? It is not easy.
Enye easy.
But as until who probably say we na your campaign say campaign one die ya naka esenke dey hwe ho na ato abade nobody go be anywhere among not even president na president Mahama campaign be no ogo akra no aba papa ijira na so anti me dey I'm not looking at that aspect alone campaign no dey obeye but there is certain aspect na bato na yeti na asofu bebre keka say lesson we there's so much spirituality in the lesson. One thing as of work is here the same be omoka into ediana no mu hu na no mo keka no so ade ase about to be an one more edafu because no be answer the ginya medi obi what the origin sure into onu fi say sa de we na NDC no so na omo ba aba we no they were determined say sa aba we antumi awini a ye party no agu no
in the omo call all out.
They went all out, but the assessor they did it, and they have succeeded. So they are saying, unfortunately, they have succeeded. You know,
but on the apathy across the country, and I say, I'm for.
What do you think the party has to do moving on?
You asking a question and. Because I have a problem, personally have a problem with my party because I have been sort of personally quarreling with quite a lot of them. When I say quarrel, I mean quarrel with a lot of them, things which are going on or things which went on, and unfortunately for the party and government, maybe if I put the government, you speak out, you challenge some things, and become some sort of outcast. But because you don't like the president, you don't like the government, that's what you are behaving that way. But I have been in politics for quite a time. And if I want to be honest, if I see something which is going wrong, I must be able to speak out. I believe our party problem, from my own, started the time we removed our party chairman and the general secretary. I believe that's when the party's problem started.
Mr. Paul Afroku and Mr. Kwan.
I believe that's when well, when we did that, we gave the party to one man to do whatever he wanted to do with the party. and people were scared to speak up. From there, we went to government. Executive government with executive powers more powerful than party leader. So one would have thought that at that stage, we would have sat up to say, let's be careful of what we do. But it got to a stage where almost like the late Kwaku said, we became some sort of gaping sycophants. Knowing things were not going on well, but we allowed these things to go on. So some of me, for example, I knew we were not going to be successful in the election. And I told some colleagues, they didn't want to listen to me. And I said, maybe we're not putting our ears to the ground to hear what people are saying. And that people were very, very angry with us. And it was too late to change things. My only surprise is the extent of the defeat. But the failure, I knew it was going to happen. I believe what the party should do now to sit up. Everybody should be brought back into the party. A lot of people were just pushed away from the party because they were supposed not to be favorites of the executive, of the president. And so they decided to stay there, go their own way. It's about time, if the party wants to succeed, to bring everybody back. Whether they went out on a voluntary basis or they were pushed out for 100, the party should now listen, bring everybody. There's supposed to be a committee.
Yes.
I believe in that committee should be, we should take some people from outside the party. People, there were some institutions who may be sympathetic to the party, go outside the party and give it the work to them to do. They will come and tell us exactly what happened. Because if you pick people from inside the party, they may even be scared to come, supposing they realize that if, for example, the president was 80% the cause of our failure, they may be finding it difficult to come and say that this is what happened. But if you take an outsider, he also loves your party. So he looks at, listen to people, do his research and come and tell you, maybe your president takes about 80% of your problem, so that next time you don't do that. I believe that's what we should do. We should take someone from outside the party to do the work for us. We should sit down, bring everybody into the fold. After all, the party has been in existence for a very, very long time. It didn't start with the 1992. Yes. Some of us were in parliament, the same party, some were earlier. And if we don't really sit up and do, I'm scared we may lose the party. And therefore I believe we should bring everybody together. We should do the work of finding out what happened. Even though many of us have been talking, everybody giving his or her views of what happened. But it would be better to get somebody from outside the party to go out there, listen to people, and come out to tell us these are our findings.
Have you had this discussion with President Kufuor after the defeat? Have you discussed this?
I have had some discussions with him, and he wants me to come and sit up with him to have a thorough discussion of some of these issues. And I'm sure I'll bring some of these things up to him.
I've been much voter apathy in Ashanti region, and I will tell you the reason. Because the voter apathy in Ashanti is worse than everywhere, and that has become a big problem for the NPP. Right. You see, from time immemorial, from the very inception of the Matemehu party, and I mean NLM, they have always seen the party as an Ashanti traditional party. Indeed, the party was formed at Menchia as Asantehini's own party. And go to history, like it or not, the truth is that Ashantis don't want anybody to lead them apart from their own.
Right.
And that was the reason why in the year 2008, Kufuor did not give his support to his running mate. He knew that because he came from the north. And that was the reason why, even though at the formation of the National Liberation Movement, the leader should have been S.G. Dombo. but they swept him and gave to Professor K.A. Buzia, then an Ashanti. He came from the Brown Ahafo region, but at that time, Brown Ahafo was Ashanti West. So they gave it to an Ashanti man. Then 1979, it was an Ashanti man, Victor Owusu. Always Ashantis. They like tree-speaking people. Now, for the first time, Nana Akufo-Addo put his weight behind Bawumia instead of Chiramatin or a tree-speaking person.
Interchange your home. Na ye ka Kumasi any time life and a traffic situation no. Yes, so tense. Yeah, you hear interchange. Kumasi away. So yeah, interchange. I was from runabout. Ananguraga Jansia. Wo me ko sem nyina besa benefit. Because obi obeko ofri sremu ko nkrabia no wan fa Cape Coast kwan na wo fa Kumasi and Kumasi for the doors ho yet ye yanya ba akokra na na hwade Kumasi Ashanti region a business and farming in the kura Ashanti mine the farming in the galam say na ba say ne manyana nti farming koko kura say ne kan say na yeti koko bebrebe no ente sabim farming kofom business in the kura Ashanti mine hwade see your business aspect ya make us on the Bawumia buy ho he be kan no Nana do madwiri Central Market egu form. Here to about 2008 and Nana do Lucia Professor Messi buy no. Nana do ba Kumasi ba Central Market. I remember very well. Central Market do form my do to assess from say Nana do one year president. Ka wa ba ye bibi say o mani munyam. Central Market here the whole West Africa, the biggest market here West Africa no. Produce lawyers, doctors nipa atete wo mo no wo be pema dualefo nyina abo asante ebi akwa binchi yabko bubu binchi ebi akwa race course eho ateche ebi akwa ke tantantan o mabo asante wo ntima nya market amom wo so mo beto aba ma wo betima beto me se eho ahi be ko Bawumia ho obelusu wo ne de si ye ma me fa we nka ma wo se senior pentem he wo mo a o mo ye businessmen akesefo Kumasi am bebre o mo se aban we wodi ehwamo Hwamon saying, Omo de businessmen, ya ebi won kwada 50, 100, 200. Adentia, e niema free abrochire bedu portwa. E hona tete o befamu nyagro. E niema na free portwa na e se ba Kumasi Ashanti region no. Me ka ba ko se ekohia e wo regional office. Me kose me ye PRO e ma tag. One of the adwadifo enkabom ko ne ba ko. Wo mo say, wo de niema ne ba Kumasi hanom no. Ubedru adwoso so fa Accra road a ubedu na customs for boho so fa anya kwanta kwana so ubedu na ba ko bo tell bia befa bia. And this was not happening in other regions, it was happening only in Ashanti region. Omo na kama meti yo
Lawson FM
yes
96.3
yes Emma ba ko wo say obeka na no asem che regional minister wo say niema ye yigu container na wo yego nya wa na befa wo paafo o ye ni me go wo ya wasa bopa no masa packet na ba ko nso toye so boka more than 2 billion OCDs enya ono nko o endo mo se aban we ne nse no emwa yen Dr. Bawumia te ho na aban we yesa ye beto tia no enti e mu bi kan say samo de Dr. Bawumia ba sa ne ma we nyina no o meto aba tia Dr. Bawumia mo mfa ne ma mo fa obi foforo mra en go bi ba ya na de besisi a ebia years back. Oh, I say, oh, I feel the Dr. Bawumia bra. Nake, but what about Belusu? Na me hwe Nanado ono ankasa ne personality. Nanado ba Kumasi a eko otek. Captain Koda na interview no. Busa na say kwa abere for so omo ntoaba. Na o kan say because o makwan enye. Munti answer Nanado de mai. O say obi a wo kokromoti. Kokromoti enye ne dia wa na kokromoti no no. Won for so say toaba. Nti the office oba toaba ma ne bia tuma no. Nanado in 2016 ani enimu no no saa na okasa enne wonya ni bibia awie nti o ka che kwa aberefo say na o ka che kwa aberefo nyom ko na ka che wo mu o ka che Ghana fo nyina say unti fo so obia say on to aba ma because obia ko promoti nya wo dia wo yes ha wo prepare Ghana so say wo ha party no hwe Nanado enne ko ba bia ohene bi oba ya Nanado chia no ohene to sorry chia me sorry ena ohene sorry uni ma kire de tie se ohene kwa oyare ena wo Nanado hu donti wo ba no e kurukuru no de na betena wo se won fa ne mo nyam mehia Nanado nti sorry e kura ho odin ma no unnim de nti wote ho no na wo ye leader na obi te wo kura na wa yesa chia no wie uvia na mechi am say what was ade kra na koso wo de tumi say and wo sore ye wo yes ano ahemfo nkai nyina ehwe wo say be kwase na wo say de be yonko ye ne me o nyina ehwe say okay wanya yi ba ku bi wo so wo ye de say wo tie ko say de ben ko stop no ye ni ame ade a obeye ni bosome na mampom wo ye program na wa wo ba na do ye bo antem wo tie ko wo yi wani say de wa hunu wo tonche so no soro ko ye enti Ghana fo hu nyina ofi say ebeye den me ka say be ko tie Dr. Bawumia ti mo mfa Dr. Bawumia ma last one on Dr. Bawumia na mu me ka say
Nana sense no dey say ke be party obia
dabi e ko tie wan
obia anka party no dey be
dabi ye wo key ones bia dabi ye wo key ones a na omne Nana do de ada say omo management committee no na omo contest no nyina aka ho dabi